I'm actually pretty tired of this subject. Frankly, I'm getting really, really tired of the whole rape thing. All I can say to all the people out there that tell me that as a man, I should make it my priority to teach men and boys not to rape and all the rest of that. Really about the only thing I can say to people that would say that to me is, fuck you. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. And it's not a good thing for me socially to sit and tell my little boy, if I had one, that he's a potential rapist and that, he's an inherently bad person, but, if you learn the proper things, you can become a real human being. All men are not rapists. And I think it was Andrea Dworkin that said, all men are rapists, and that's all they are. And that is the exact intent behind this campaign. It is assuming that all men are rapists to begin with, and they have to be educated out of it. And any man that participates in something like this is really doing himself and that boy a really big disservice. All it does is reinforce the demonization of men. Which brings me to sort of another point here. I have been in a few debates on different blogs and what have you with certain people about the whole false accusation versus the unreported rapes and all the rest of that. And what I can tell you is this, is that even if you believe that the conviction rate for rape is too low, and we'll call it 2, 4, 8, whatever percent is in vogue that week, okay? Even if you figure that that's too low, and frankly, if there's only 2 or 4 or 8% of them being actually successfully prosecuted, what I would say is, I think maybe you gotta tighten up your rules of evidence as to what you're gonna actually charge people on. But, that being said, when you get right down to it, the prosecution rate, not the conviction rate, but the prosecution rate for false accusation of rape is 0. Everywhere. Everywhere. 0. They don't prosecute it. Ever. But we already know they happen. I mean, we watched one play out on television. I mean, we could get 24 hours of it on CNN for months on end. And we know, it's proven, that that is a false accusation. We also saw on television really convincing evidence that the prosecutor knew that it was a fake charge right from the outset, and all he saw was a political win. So what he was going to do to these 3 guys, or as many guys as he could, because I'm sure he wanted the whole friggin' team, but what he was going to do to these guys was he was going to have them thrown into prison for like 25 years, okay? These are 18 to 22, 23, whatever year old people. So they're going to be double their age when they get out of prison. He already did drag their names through the mud. Okay? National coverage of your rape trial is definitely not something most guys are going to want, because it doesn't matter if you're innocent or guilty, because everybody out there is basically going to make their own assumptions anyway, and it won't matter what happens, because if they assume you're innocent, then they're going to assume that you got railroaded if you're put into jail. And if they assume that you're guilty, they're going to assume that you got off because you were rich, because you didn't go to jail. So their reputation is sullied, basically, for the next foreseeable future. So on top of going to jail, their reputation is trashed. They have an infamous name now. So, I mean, people will recognize them, recognize their names, and their aforementioned biases will come right out. So these guys have to deal with that, plus the prison, plus the fact that they lose their education, or they have to finish it through prison, which I'm sure doesn't really give you honors or whatever. I mean, they work in a different circle than I do. I don't know. But then on top of that, they got 25 years that they didn't get a chance to make a living in. So they come out at 50 years old, so 15 years away 15 years away from retirement with zero work experience because they've been in prison the whole time. So, I mean, what do they got? Shop, you know, I can press license plates. I work in a call center taking orders. Yeah, that'll be some great guns for their career. So they go to jail. They lose their career. They lose their quality education that they're paying for. Oh, what else do they lose? Their freedom for 25 years to do as they please, which they should have, which I think is a pretty big one. And here's the thing that really fucking pisses me off about this whole thing. All the talking heads on TV can say is that there's a chilling effect on people coming forward. Let me ask you something, Mr. and Mrs. Talking Head. What about the guys that end up going to jail for 18 fucking years? Okay? Are they not victims? Do they not deserve a little bit of consideration? What about the guys who are accused of something like raping somebody in a park, for example, and they lose their wife and their kids, and they have child support payments and alimony payments and the house that they bought 4 or 5 years previous or something like that, and all the stuff that goes along with divorce and all the rest of that, plus they get to go to jail. And then when they come out, they get, oh, sorry, we believed her and we shouldn't have. And you know what happens to her? Fuck all! Nothing! Not a thing! No, there's no justice in that at all. There is no justice in that at all. So what are they doing with this whole rape hysteria thing? They know that we've got them dead to rights. These women should be prosecuted, and the penalty should be exactly what the man was facing when he was sitting in the defense box. They know it. That is the way it should be. The only way to get you, as a man, to back off is to make you apologize for being a rape apologist. Just stop. Just stop. Look at him and say, you know what? I care about that about as much as you care about false accusations of rape. Okay? You go do your thing, you do your thing. I'll do my thing and get my thing done. And we don't have to talk about this anymore. This is ridiculous. We have a ton of things out here that really need to be fixed. We have people all over the world that are talking about how bad things are going to get if we don't do something lickety-split right now. And you guys want money to, I don't know, demonize men some more? Take your fucking Men Can Stop Rape fucking campaign and shove it up your ass.